Greetings, fellow men of culture. As always, I'm broadcasting live from the peak of Thundercock Mountain. Developing and launching a new MMO at any time in the last decade is like sneaking into your neighbor's house in the middle of the night to suck their toes while they sleep, then jerk off their dog. You can do it, but you probably shouldn't. The MMO genre isn't expanding. Everyone that has any interest in the genre has their main game and maybe one side game. The brain dead have retail WoW. The 30-year-old and older dads that work 4 jobs and have 15 kids play some flavor of classic WoW. The furries and the femboys have Final Fantasy XIV. Some people play Elder Scrolls Online, I guess. I've never met anyone that does though, so I'm not sure if the game is even real. Old school RuneScape players don't have the attention span to sit and watch a TV show, so they play the game on a second monitor while watching Netflix. Everyone gets excited when a new challenger with extra soft hands enters the circle jerk, seeing a brand new game as possibly their new home. All these players are seeking what they already have in the game they've been playing for the last 15 years or longer. Lost Ark launched in North America in 2022 and went crazy on Steam for a period of time. Once everyone realized it was the typical pay-to-win Korean MMO, they drop-kicked that shit away and returned to their main game. Amazon took a filthy crack at hitting the big time with New World, which again, did pretty well initially. There were some hilarious game-breaking bugs like dragging the game window around your desktop, causing your character to become invincible during PvP encounters. Just like with several other games before it, people tried New World for a little bit, then went right back to their main game like disgusting little mongoloids. The servers remain online until the end of 2026, but all development for New World has ceased, leaving the game in maintenance mode until its inevitable heat death. EverQuest Legends is coming out later in 2026, so we'll see how that goes. The entire MMO genre is propped up by 4 or 5 tentpole games. Entering the market and succeeding even with a shiny new game with modern visuals and quality of life features seems to be impossible. One of the most recent notable examples of a new game trying and failing is Ashes of Creation. The entire saga of this game has been covered like crazy at this point, so I'll only give a quick summary. Ashes of Creation was a Kickstarter-funded MMO that raised $3.2 million during its campaign, had some funding from the Intrepid Studio founder Stephen Sharif, as well as undisclosed private investment. Well, it turns out Stephen Sharif hadn't actually invested a dime of his own money, and was so grossly misusing development funds that the company was constantly on the verge of bankruptcy since 2017. On my very first job as a welder, I had a boss that used to blow company money on his gambling problem. Got so bad at one point that some of the older guys that still had physical checks printed out all had to race each other to the bank at the end of the day, since the last 1 or 2 checks would always bounce. Also, he kept trying to touch my cock. In February 2026, Intrepid laid off nearly everyone, and development on Ashes of Creation stopped. Over 8 years of development time and over $10 million spent to squirt on an alpha build of the game. Really quick, I want to thank this video's sponsor, my channel members. You guys are real men of culture, these stewards of Thundercock Mountain. There's been a lot of speculation about where all the money behind the project could have possibly gone. There were rumors of Stephen Sharif using development money to fund his own luxury lifestyle. While he denied this initially, it's impossible to sweep under the rug now that an absolute unit of a man named Nefis QS got a hold of Intrepid's ledger and has made it public for all to see. A link to download the entire ledger is in the description of his video, and he goes through all the details in depth, so please check it out and leave him a like.
$21,000 made to Private Chefs Inc. on July 18, 2022 coincide with the Private Chef's work history as culinary director at Intrepid Studios starting in July 2022.
$21,000 on a private chef. The name is blurred out so we can't tell for sure, but for 21 grand that chef better have been a big booty Latina. Apparently the chef was promised to cook for the employees, but apparently never showed up at the office at all, only at Stephen Sharif's Kickstarter-funded mansion to cook only for him and his husband.
I've had multiple sources, including former employees, tell me that Stephen owned interesting curiosities, including the spoon set of General William Tecumseh Sherman, and other things such as Nazi memorabilia. So
the guy bought some chunk of ownership in William Tecumseh Sherman's spoon set. I don't have spoons, let alone crazy antique ones. In fact, I don't own any utensils at all. That's why it takes me so long to pick the corn out of my shit.
We have over $1,000 spent for Everything Dice, which sells handmade tabletop dice.
How could you possibly spend $1,000 on dice? What's he doing with so many? Sticking them in his urethra?
We have over $6,000 paid to Card Kingdom for presumably Magic the Gathering cards.
$6,400 on Magic the Gathering cards. Of course, he had to pick the gayest TCG out there.
SpongeBob.
Over $700 paid to Fortnite from March 2022 to September 22.
I know Fortnite is a cash cow and is filled with microtransactions, but how could one adult want $750 worth of Fortnite stuff? How can you possibly spend that much? The stupid Kratos and Stranger Things skins can't be that alluring.
Gobble, gobble, give me that wiener, stuff these holes and follow the leader. Gobble, gobble, give me that dick. This Thanksgiving I'm a hungry bitch.
Over $300 paid in October and November 2019 to Player Auctions, a very well-known RMT website where people buy and sell game accounts. Similarly, $334.62 was paid to K-Boosting LLC, aka kboosting.com, a website where you pay cash to get boosted in online games like World of Warcraft or Path of Exile.
That's $10 shy of $700 spent on buying game accounts and boosting services. Apparently, Steven Sharif was paying himself a very nice salary as a developer, despite not actually participating in development, a higher salary than any of the actual employees making the game. I guess he would come into the office every day, belly full of delicious food made by his private chef that those filthy, poor employees will never get to enjoy, and do nothing all day. Despite all the free time and luxury lifestyle paid for by Kickstarter donations and private investors, he couldn't even be bothered to level his own characters in WoW or Path of Exile or whatever game he was boosting in.
Almost $700 was paid to Ancestry.com from 2018 to 2020.
To find out that his ancestors were just as shitty as he is.
Almost $2,000 paid to Star City Gam, which on PayPal we discovered turned up StarCityGames.com, which is possibly linked to Star City Comics and yielding to a transaction of $2,300 paid to Star City Roanoke, as Star City Comics and Games is a prominent Magic the Gathering retailer located in Roanoke, Virginia.
More Magic the Gathering trash. He could have at least picked a culture TCG like V-Card.
We see over $1,500 paid to Battlefield Vegas on June 4th, 2022, a gun range that lets you shoot military-grade weapons. On top of that, almost $30,000 is paid to MGM Grand, which means it was a very lavish spending or other employees were perhaps brought there.
This guy stole all this developer money to go shooting and gambling. This actually sounds like a sitcom script at this point. My personal favorite item in the ledger is $2,200 spent on hot dogs.
Hey girl!
I didn't spend that much money to get hot dogs for my wedding when I married my cousin. Maybe he told all of his employees that these gourmet, glistening glizzies were all made by the private chef that none of them have ever seen. Or he spent it all on one giant hot dog and ate the whole thing in one bite. This is unrelated, but ever since I discovered the medicinal benefits of replacing all normal drinking water with just hot dog water, I've never felt better. Just look at my glowing complexion. Ashes of Creation was the highest profile Kickstarter game fail in recent years. But given Kickstarter project's track record with actually getting stuff done, it's not really a surprise. Steam did right by its customers, thankfully. They froze funds raised from sales of the game to prevent Intrepid from taking off with the money before refunds could be issued. Given Steven Sharif's track record of blowing other people's money on Magic the Gathering cards and hot dogs to shove up his ass, that was probably the best call. It sucks that a game that a lot of people were genuinely looking forward to not only didn't materialize, but turned into a complete clown show. The Kickstarter backers and private investors will probably never see any of their money back, but at least we got a hilarious story of a douchebag con man taking a bunch of strangers' donations under the guise of making a product, only to secretly buy 300 pounds of hot dogs. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.